He is the Oreo to my cookie. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another episode of Whatever Wednesday. So for this Whatever Wednesday, this video was highly requested from you guys on Instagram, and this video will be all about how me and Caleb met and our love story. So I'm just gonna quit rambling on, keep this intro pretty short so we can just jump right into this video. But before we jump into this video, if you guys haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It's right down there for you. And also turn on those post notifications so you guys will be notified every single time I upload, and you could be one of the first to comment and give the video a thumbs up. Like, how cool is that? You know you want to. Thumbs it up. Don't forget to follow me on my social media. I'll have that right here for you guys. But without further ado, let's just jump into this video and welcome my sexy husband.
Hello, YouTube.
Welcome, everybody. And if you guys don't know, this is Caleb. This is my husband. This is Mr. Shaw.
To start out the video, we wanted to do a video on how we met. Unfortunately, we have two different stories to how we met. So we're kind of going back and forth on whatever, but it was almost 5 years ago. So we seem to disagree a lot on how different circumstances happened in order for us to end up together. And as you'll be able to see, they're quite different.
Yes, you will definitely see that the stories at the end, they are completely the same, but the beginning on how we both think we met, totally different. This is how Caleb thinks we met. We'll start with his version and then we'll go with my version, the right version.
Oh my gosh. Anyway.
So let's go, honey. How did we meet in your eyes?
How we met was, I was actually in Florida. We met once when we were in Washington. I don't really recall it very well. It was really brief. After that, we didn't talk for a very long time. I believe it was about a year or so in between when we had small talk and then when we finally connected again, which during that time I was actually in Florida, living it up, having a great time. And then, next thing you know, I got a follow on Instagram from her. At the time, it was like Shy Marie. It wasn't fit because she wasn't fit back then. So from there, she followed me, and then I was like, oh, that's weird. I wonder who this is. So I click on her profile, I follow her back, and I'm like, oh, she's kind of cute. So I liked a few of hers, and then I realized she was in Washington. So I was like, oh, great, another Washington chick. Just what I need, right? When I just moved.
Because he's originally from Washington. We're both originally from here. We forgot to tell you that. Continue.
Yeah. So going forward from there, we kind of just kept liking each other's pictures here and there. You know, comments here and there. Nothing serious or anything like that. And then I think like a week later, as that goes on, she friends me on Facebook. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, I know who this is. Accept. And then immediately, 2 seconds later, a DM right away. Right away. And it was like, hey, you're hot. What's up? Just super forward with it, which I'm fine with.
You're such a liar.
Which I'm fine with. I'm cool with that. She was honest. I was like, that's cool. You know, at least she's real about it. Still really small talk, and then, I kind of got tired of that because I was like, she's in Washington. I really don't want to be talking to a girl in Washington. I'm trying to move forward with my life. I'm here in Florida now, so, I mean, why get tied down to somebody in Washington? So, with that being said, we kind of stopped talking, and then I said, you know what? Hey, if you're ever in Florida, here's my number. You can text me, maybe we can get together or something. So, from there, after I gave her my number, within minutes, actually.
Such a lie.
Within minutes, boom, a text hits my cell phone right away. Just kept, going back and forth, and then we started talking on the phone, FaceTiming. Then, it kind of just went out of control, and then we just started. She fell in love really quick. That's all I can say. She fell in love very quick. I told her before, I said, hey, if we keep talking, you're going to fall in love really fast.
He did say that.
And I see this whole story is 100% real.
No, that was real, but the rest, no.
Around that time, it was around December, so I went back out to Washington because my family's here, so we went and visited my dad. And then we kind of hung out even further and felt like we could, maybe potentially have something here. So then, after that, I went back to Florida. Then we started talking again. We're on the phone all the time, blah, blah, blah. We're really getting to know each other now. Like it's kind of a thing. And then, we continue to talk, and I pretty much just tell her, hey, you're a great girl, but I'm in Florida. You're in Washington. You're in school. I'm not. I'm working, doing my thing. And and you know, I'm not going to just have a long distance relationship. That's just not my style. You know, we really had a good relationship then, and we started, you know, getting further and further into it. And so the time came where I just told her, you know, hey, you're a great girl, you're pretty and whatnot, I like you, but we're halfway across the country here. How far is this really going to go? You know, I'm not going back to Washington. I didn't know what her deal was, if she was coming to Florida or not. I was hoping she would, but I know that she was in school. She had a lot of prior obligations, so I figured, you know, it's probably not going to go too far, you know. So I just kind of cut that one short and didn't expect too much. But then we talked about it, and then she was like, you know what? I could see myself living in Florida, and I want something different at the time. I told her, hey, if you want to come, great. If not, then, you know, we're just going to have to go our separate ways. So it was pretty simple. So, of course, she decided to come. How could you not? So she decided to come. A month later, she was here. Her Nana, her mom, everybody helped her pack. She was there. She had everything. We were moved in. We were getting settled. And yeah, that's kind of where it all started. And 5 years later, now we're here. And she's happier than ever, you know?
Completely false. So let's go with the truth, my version. So there were bits of his story that
All
were
of
true.
The story?
Not all of it.
All of the
bits
story?
and pieces.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
We're both originally from Washington, and we both went to rival high schools. We knew basically all of the same people and ran into each other like once or twice. When I moved back to Washington after I tore my ACL the first time, I started playing basketball at a community college here, and I was living with my dad and my stepmom, and Caleb was in Florida at the time. And I remember I was on Instagram.
That's true. That's really true.
And I knew his brother because my friends were friends with his brother. So I knew of his brother a lot more than him. So I was friends with his brother on like Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff. And I was on Instagram one morning, and I was just scrolling through, and I see a picture of his brother, and there's a picture of him. And I didn't know Kirk had a brother. So I clicked Caleb's profile, and it was private. I was like, oh, well, he's actually kind of hot. So I followed him. That is true. I followed him first.
Yep.
But
She did.
after that, after I followed him, instantly, I got a follow from him, and there was like 3 or 4 likes on my pictures.
Oh, gosh.
Instantly.
No, that's
Yes.
false. I do not remember that. There's no way.
Instantly.
Why would I like your pictures right away?
Because you were going through them, and you liked the first 3 of them. And then that's when I went through his pictures and
don't know
was
about that,
going
guys.
through and was liking a lot of his pictures. So we were doing that like for like thing where we wanted each other to notice each other, but we didn't want to make the first move. I was waiting for him because I didn't want to, but he never really made the first move. He just kept liking all my pictures.
I didn't like all your pictures.
Most of my pictures.
No, I didn't.
Okay, every time I uploaded,
I don't know, guys. I don't know about
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
I don't know about
He
her.
liked a lot of my pictures because I remember that.
I liked a few. Like probably 2 a day, maybe. But I guess that adds up to quite a bit.
So I remember I was on Facebook, and you know how Facebook has those, like, you may know this person thing? Well, he popped up. I was like, oh, I'm going to send him a friend request. Why not? See what happens. So I sent him a friend request, and that was it. Nothing happened. He did not message me. He didn't like any of my pictures. Nothing. I was like,
That's
oh.
true.
I was, like, my heart actually kind of hurt. I was like,
Did it really?
oh, a little bit.
Oh, I didn't know that. If I would have known, I would have liked something.
So a week passed by, but yet we were friends on Facebook and nothing happened. But on Instagram, we still kept liking each other's pictures. And at this time, Instagram didn't have DMs yet, so we couldn't DM each other. So that's when I finally got the courage after I was staring at my phone for like an hour. Like I went to Messenger and I typed out a message, and then I kept deleting it and deleting it. And then next thing I know, it was sent. I don't even remember sending it, but it's sent. And I was like, holy crap. Okay, if he doesn't respond, oh well, he's in Florida, whatever. Like 20 minutes later, my phone goes off. And I see I have a message from him, and I did that like whole like double take. I was like, oh, panic, what? Like I actually kind of panicked. I started to sweat a little bit because I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't think he was gonna, you know? And we just started, you know, just kind of messaging back and forth. He was asking how my day was. I was asking how his was. And he was actually out fishing at the time. So
Yeah, it was.
he told me
Definitely
he
was.
couldn't, like, respond that fast because he was fishing. And then we literally talked like all day and all into the night into Florida for him until it was time for his bedtime. I think it was like almost 1 o'clock. And he pulled...
It was a 3-hour time difference, so,
yeah.
you know.
So he pulled this smooth move. He goes, hey, if you're ever in Florida, hit me up sometime. Here's my number. So I was like, oh, okay, sounds good. Have a good night. So I saved his number and...
A minute later.
No. I played the waiting game. I had his number. I literally waited like 2 or 3 days, I think, to message you.
Oh, yeah, you did. Because I was like, I got a text from her. It was like 2 or 3 days later. I almost forgot who it was because it was so long. And then I was like, oh, she's playing games. Okay.
So I was playing the waiting game because I was told you're supposed to make him wait and not look eager. Because I was actually really excited to talk to him because look at him. Look at his face.
Oh my God.
He's gorgeous. It took him forever to respond, and I was like, oh, crap. Like, I waited too long, probably doesn't remember me. And literally, it didn't go anywhere. It was probably, like, the most cringe-worthy, awkward texting, because it was just, like, we didn't know what to say or kind of really how to act. So it was a whole bunch of awkward small talk. So we actually didn't talk to each other probably for a month that we didn't talk to each other. And then I think I saw him post on Instagram that he was at the beach or something, and it looked really pretty, and I texted him. I was like, oh, that looks so fun, have fun or whatever. And after that, it was like that night we just never stopped texting. And then a couple months later, it was Christmas time, and he was coming to Washington, and that's when we basically were talking on the phone, FaceTiming all the way up until Christmas. And at this point, this is when he did say, he's like, be careful, you're going to fall in love real quick with me. And I started joking with him. I was like, haha, you're going to fall in love first. And we actually had a bet going on. We said whoever said I love you first would have to buy somebody like this special Christmas gift. And I remember I was on the phone with him. It was 2 days before he was getting ready to come. And he said something, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's why I love you so much. And I like pooped myself. I was like, oh my gosh.
And it was dead silent. And I was like, I heard her breathing. And I was like, hello? And she was like, yeah, I'm still here. And I was like, oh. I was like, you just said I love you, didn't you? And she was like, no. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's what I heard. And she was like, yeah, I did. And I was like, okay, it's fine. I love you too.
Yeah.
And then she was like, oh my gosh.
Instantly.
My heart was pounding, blah, blah, blah.
I was like sweating because I was like, oh my gosh, knowing my luck, he doesn't even love me. He probably just thinks I'm like some weird person in Washington. But then he came to Washington 2 days later, and
we went on our first date. Where did we go?
Our first kiss was in the airport, in the Seattle airport, in the SeaTac airport. And our first date was in downtown Seattle to like the big Christmas tree. And then we just explored Seattle, and he was here for about a week, and it went by so quick, and he flew home. And after that, we both knew we just couldn't really be away from each other. And at the time, I was still in school, and I was supposed to be playing basketball, but I unfortunately tore my ACL for the second time in the summer and had surgery in November, and found out that my basketball career was over. And I honestly had no idea what I wanted to do anymore. I didn't know what I wanted to go to school for. I just felt kind of lost, and this felt like the perfect time, because at that point, Caleb even told me, he's like, hey, I really care about you, but long distance sucks. I'm not moving back to Washington, so you either need to come to Washington or come to Florida, or basically peace, because this long distance thing ain't gonna work, because plane tickets are expensive. So a month later, I was in Florida. I packed up and moved across the country, and off I went. So we lived in Florida for about 3.5, 4 years, and then just had to come back up here for treatments. But we just found out that there is no evidence of disease. And then we have just decided, since we found out there's no evidence of disease, that the Shaws will be moving back to Florida. Woo! We miss Florida so much. It's freaking cold here in Washington. We were born and raised here, but Florida is definitely where our heart's at, and
it's time to go.
It's time to go.
It's time to go. We'll be in Tampa, Florida this time. We were in Orlando, but there's a hospital there just in case she does need it, because she's going to have to go for checkups and scans and stuff like that every couple months. So it's actually the number It's number 6 cancer treatment hospital in the country. So we decided that we're going to go ahead and move to Tampa, probably downtown area somewhere. We're looking at high rises and stuff like that. We're just keeping our options open now. So our goal is to be out there probably by June of next year, because that's when our lease ends here. So we're coming for you.
Yeah, we're coming for you, Tampa. Tampa, Florida, we're coming for you. We miss Florida. We do love Washington. Washington is basically what brought us together. So we're thankful for that, but Florida is definitely going to be our home. But we are going to end that here for this video. If you guys want to see a part 2 on kind of our love story and go further into how we met and just a little bit more about us, give this video a thumbs up or leave a comment down in the comments down below. We would love to hear from you guys, and we hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah, you'll be seeing a lot more of him and coming into our daily dysfunctional lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yo. Alright guys, we'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and follow me on social media and this guy. But we'll see you guys in the next video. Love you. Bye.